This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Steve Mazzarella, Mayor, and we're live this afternoon. We have a fun show, guaranteed money, double your money back if it's not a fun show. We have a poinsettia here. You guys really went big time on the poinsettias. This is a 2-inch poinsettias. But hey, we're festive here.
The best we could find.
Yeah, I know, but this is very nice, by the way.
Spared no expense, Carl says.
Just wait and see what we've got behind the curtain.
Make sure you water this once in a while. You know, let's get it. $2. You know, they have the Black Friday sales, and you can get them for like 99 cents. So take it back and wait till next year, Carl. You broke the budget here at LTV. Anyway, you're watching Inside Leominster. We're live each and every Thursday. Just as a reminder, on the 22nd, I believe, right? Am I right, Bradley? The 22nd, Santa Claus will be here. We won't be here at 4. We'll be here at 6:30. And it'll be here at 6:30 to 7:30, so get the kiddies ready. Phone number will be, as it is today, 978-534-1626. Ronnie's here today, and Carl and Alan stepped in for a minute. I don't know where Alan went, but usually comes in and chats with me at the beginning. And Bradley's here, and Keith. And so we'll have some fun today. We got guests, and yes, but speaking of fun, let's go right to Art from the Art Report. Seems like I haven't spoken with you for weeks.
I know. It's that time of year. And, you know, I was just sitting back here reflecting on my buddy, Ron Bouchard. We lost him on December 10th in 2015.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, that kid, I never saw anybody be so smooth on a wheel. He was just an unbelievable driver. In fact, he won twice on the most difficult track in all of racing, Darlington International Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. He won the 200 there twice, and it was a neck and neck race with Jeff Bodine, and it was a good thing to see because he was out there with the best of them.
And
life goes on, my friend.
And a good guy too, and a good human being too.
Yeah, and he was, you know, I could talk for 6 hours just on the one-on-one experiences I had with him, and I'll remember him forever for them because they were all fun.
Well, after the first of the year, we'll do a little show we'll get some guests in to talk about Ron Bouchard.
Yeah, him and digital. What a life. Anyway, I looked at Facebook today, pictures that they were demolishing the old Burbank Hospital.
Aha.
What a shame. I don't think that should have ever closed.
Well,
I know urgent care is trying to help out with the emergency room situation, but
yeah.
it's a long wait up there. I can speak from experience.
It's a cancer center is one of the best around, so that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
So they've moved some things up there, and but at the time it was the two couldn't survive. You know, the healthcare industry doesn't change every 10 or 20 years anymore. It changes every 10 or 12 months.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's a very expensive profession in terms of keeping it going, I'm sure. I mean, with the salaries and everything. But then again, the urgent care outfits, we got 3 or 4 here in Leominster. They're wonderful. And I can speak from experience with that. My sister, about a year ago, come over here to say hi on her way from Connecticut to her high school reunion, and she tripped getting up from the kitchen chair, went backwards, and 10 stitches in the top of her head.
Wow.
And they used staples, and we went to urgent care. She was in and out in an hour. So that was, good service. And have you got the price of an oil change lately?
Oh, yeah, it's insane. Remember, it used to be $19.99 at Jiffy Lube, and if they took longer than 10 minutes, it was free.
Yeah, well, wouldn't that be nice if that was that way again?
No, that's synthetic oil, and I don't know.
I don't even get synthetic oil. And my last oil change was $60.
60? You got away with it cheap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what my taxes were on my the sales tax on my electric bill was $120.
We noticed that. We had a What's that all about?
Oh, they tax you on your electricity.
I don't know. Everything's going up.
Going up?
Except my weight. But golf season's over, so that's bound to add to it. But that's about it. I was thought that for sure they would probably try to reopen Burbank someday and bring it up to code, but I wonder if Henderson's going to go in there. Have you heard anything?
They've been moving certain divisions up there. And the other thing is who they're going to put in there. There's a nursing shortage. There's a shortage of people. There aren't enough workers to take care of the people that are in the hospitals now.
That's another thing. And there was an insurance, something going on between Leominster doctors and insurance companies. Tufts. We got a letter that we weren't going to honor our doctors anymore. And then we got another letter weeks later saying the doctors have signed a thing, you're back on with Tufts. I mean, what? Oh, well, times change, I guess, huh?
Managed care, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know what? We all want to stay healthy. We all want X-rays and CAT scans and MRIs, and yeah, it's expensive. I went to my orthopedic. The old knees are starting to get the arthritis in it, right? But I went to my orthopedic just to find out, what should I be doing, and it was filled with young people with sports injuries. Now, if you had an injury when you were young, a sports injury, and you had to go to the doctor, get an operation, would your parents have then sent you back to play again? Never.
Yeah.
Today, some of these kids have had 3, 4, 5 operations, and they're just in their first year of college. And I don't think the healthcare system was set up for that.
I don't either.
No.
And then it's...
you get hurt, then, hey, it's take up ping pong or something, But
it gets very expensive.
Of course it does.
I got injured at Leominster Hospital, of all places, and from the back of the hospital around the building to the emergency room, I rode in an ambulance, and it was $1,200.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all the requirements that we have to follow run an ambulance.
Yeah. But they were wonderful, wonderful guys. It was a fun trip.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Like all our services in this town. And it all filters down from West Street, and it works its way back to the public, and that's what makes Leominster so great.
Well, good to hear.
And have a happy Christmas, my friend.
We got Santa. We got Santa on the 22nd.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be in the area.
All right.
But he knows where I live.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. And you behave.
That's
Vote
the plan.
Mazzarella.
Yeah. All right, Art. That was Art from the Art Report right here at Inside Leominster, 978-534-1626. I have a busy weekend last week, and really nice. I mean, I can't remember all the places that we went to last weekend, but one of them was the Montechusett Corral. Remember, we had to push everything over from the winter stroll and the tree lighting and the parade. We had we have any clips of the new parade, Bradley, we can show later? We don't have to do it right now. But, yeah, do you have anything? Later. You don't have to do it right now. Whenever you can. Anyway, we had to move everything from Saturday that was scheduled for Saturday. So we merged two together, which actually worked out pretty good. People were able to go to the Festival of Trees, and some actually stayed for the concert when they found out there was a concert at City Hall at 3. Some left and came to the stroll, and then even after the concert was over at City Hall, Ronnie and many others, Ron, came to the stroll. And then we had the parade at 5, and then the tree lighting, and everything went so well. We had good weather. I can't imagine we would have been out there on Saturday. It just poured. It was raw and cold and windy, and I just couldn't imagine anyone was coming out, let alone trying to light a fire in the chestnut pit. But no, so it worked out wonderfully. And so, yes, we had a busy weekend, and all for the good. So we're going to be talking to John DiCicco, who's the president of the Colonial Band, and as well as Steve Piermarini, and we're going to be talking to them about the Colonial Band's 30-something, I don't know, it's in here somewhere, concert coming up on this Sunday at 2 o'clock at City Hall in the John R. Tater Auditorium. That's a free concert. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a place in time. A place in time. And not so far from this very studio is where the author began some of his writings in his new book, A Place in Time. Be right back. And we're back here at Inside Leominster. Thanks for watching a little snippet. Is that all your film, Ron? And then they produced it back here and edited it? Yes. And a little music behind there. And what a nice day. We really had a lot of fun. I never really left the chestnut section until the parade because we had so many people waiting in line.
How many chestnuts did you go through?
Oh, let's see. There was like 10 bags, 5 pounds, so maybe 50, 60 pounds somewhere.
By the time I got there, you were just about out of it.
Yeah, it was 3 hours of just cutting. And anyway, A Place in Time. And it didn't start very far from this very point.
No, it
and
did
it's
not.
Mark Lefebvre, and the foreword in the book is written by Fran Thomas. And these guys are all from the class of 1976, but it's about youth, community, and baseball. And Mark ties it all in for you in this book that he has. And you had a kind of a talk at the library.
Yes, I did, last week.
And how'd that go?
It went really well. We had about 25, 28
Wow.
people, former teammates of mine. Coach Emil Johnson was
Wow.
there. Donnie Frieda was there. I
Wow.
had friends and relatives. And
That's an honor just to have Mr. Johnson show up.
it was hilarious. We had him going. It was great. It was a nice turnout. Had a lot of, it was a discussion.
Yeah.
As if I just kind of kicked things off.
People were tough on Mr. Johnson all the time, but he wanted nothing. And this is my own interpretation. He wanted nothing but for each student, as he was a teacher and a coach, right? He taught. I had him for printing, but he wanted the best out of you. Like he didn't want you to give 10%. He knew you were capable of more, and he wanted to make sure you gave it.
That's correct. And on the field, he wanted to win.
We're having mic issues. I mean, you can only hear me and not Mark.
You can only hear Mark.
No, he's probably here. He's changing you. There you go. So that's the impression I got from Mr. Johnson is he really wanted the best out of everybody. He didn't want. He knew you were capable of more. He wanted to get it out of you.
Right, he did.
And he wanted the best for everybody.
He was a master motivator.
Which meant sometimes meant he had to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Or you're in the doghouse.
Either way.
If you didn't respond.
Right. But he knew you were capable. You
Yes,
see?
absolutely.
And you were capable of much more. If he didn't think so, then he wouldn't have been so harsh on you.
And he wouldn't have picked you for the team if you weren't malleable.
So as I was going through the book, and this stuff's circulating in my brain for years, but nobody's ever put it to pen to ink, right? Just what a special time it was growing up around here. You at one point lived right here, right? One street away, Elm Hill Ave.
I could throw a rock at our backyard.
And the Shirellis lived across the street. And Robert Salvatore lived around.
Right, and the ball field was
corner.
at the cemetery.
The ball field was right at the cemetery where everybody played. There was one at Ticonderoga right over there at Poly-Sar or whatever they call it, Nova Core, Solar Chemical. There were fields. Sarge Marama had a field down in his land. So you could do pickup baseball.
Correct.
Which you really can't do anymore because the fields are reserved for such and such a league.
Oh, they've been built over.
And they've been built on, and so you don't have those old sand lots.
Correct.
But that's really where it starts.
Exactly.
Sand lots.
Exactly.
We'll meet you down the lot, and we'll play baseball.
And if you, on a Saturday morning, if you went to that field at 9 o'clock, you knew what game would be on. There'd be 15, 16, 18 guys there, and you'd pick your own teams, you sell your own scores, and that's where you learned how to negotiate and advocate for yourself.
But it was a special time in the 60s, or should I say the 70s. You graduated 76, I was 75. But when you look at the talent, you got to wonder, like, what was going on with guys like, Kelly and
Como
Pignato and Ricky.
Yeah.
I mean, Ricky had a good chance of making it big and
Yeah.
took a little hiatus and tried later on. But, you can't in sports, there's no missing a beat. It's timing. You're at your peak. You can't come back and restart it, right?
Exactly.
You kind of miss it along the way. And even further back with people like Vinny Campobasso. I mean, you had some Pat Padovano. You had some really powerhouses of Greg Picucci. You had powerhouses. They weren't just. I mean. Bob Pagnotta hit a ball.
Yeah.
You'd find it in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were power. This is beyond what you would find in a community. And we just thought it was just normal. Other communities thought, what are they doing out there?
Well, I think what they were doing was basically we had a combination of kids that were interested and passionate about baseball, parents that volunteered to coach and run things when you got to the organized level, and the coaching and the talent was superb.
It all came together at the perfect time.
Exactly.
Because you could have the talent, but if you didn't have the coaching, you didn't have that passion.
Right.
For people that were, coaching, as you say, Joe Maroney, who was just like, knee deep into this stuff. And just couldn't have enough of it, and it mentored him to many of the kids that went on to play sports.
That's correct.
I mean, we had a ton of players.
There were over at any given time in the summers of, say, 69, 70, 71, there was anywhere from 450 to 525 kids playing organized baseball in Leominster. We had 3 little leagues, minors and majors, 6 or 7 teams in each. Yep. We had 2 Babe Ruth divisions. Combined, we had something like 12 teams, and on each of those teams were 15 kids. So do the math.
Well, but in fairness, we had so a kid could have talent today, but you have field hockey, you have ice hockey, you have a deck hockey, which this area was also famous for because that's where it's French Hill where street hockey was invented.
I remember when Phil Esposito came out when they opened the Milex.
Big thing.
Yeah.
And now there's so much in the way of sports. And a lot of these kids work today. A lot of them either have to or choose to say, you know what, I'd love to play this, but I need to work. Help my family out, or I want to have a car, or whatever it might be.
Save money for college.
Before it was you played football, you played basketball, or you played baseball, and maybe a couple other things. But after that, you didn't have you couldn't afford all of those. Today, to sign up for a hockey league, you're talking hundreds of dollars. And families around here in the project or even in
and you
these
play in a
neighborhoods.
club team and you're traveling and the tournaments and so forth.
You didn't have the ability to do that. So
Right.
you had
A lot of competition.
So you had that. Today you got flag football, but you got Pop Warner. It used to be much bigger than it was, and more kids played. And now it's amazing the league of flag football. It's
Right.
huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge sport.
It's football without the bumps and bruises, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and the concussions and everything else that goes along.
Sure.
978-534-1626, and it's a great book. I mean, it's if you were from here or grew up here in this time, and you just thumb through and look at some of the names that are in here, Michael Leclerc and Peter Robichaud, and it just goes on and on. It's just no end to it, and Babe Ruth, and then it wasn't just that there was talent; is you made it to some of the big state championships,
Yep,
and
exactly.
you know, Tommy Kimataris, and it just this stuff went on to the Santucci's.
Yep.
It's just like the baton just kept getting passed on
Exactly.
to yet another generation.
Yep. Tells you about the system that we had here. You know, the neighborhoods, we had the recreation leagues in the summer, then we had the organized Little League, and parents who participated, newspapers who wrote articles.
Yep.
Today, the scoreboards are dark. Nobody's covering the games
Right.
and so forth. But, you know, it's just kind of the changing of the times. But it was a special place in time.
You were talking about, you know, some of the games, and you kind of playing and look out, and the place is just
Packed.
jammed,
Yeah,
and
packed.
the pressure. But same thing at St. Anna's when they'd have a basketball game. There was not even standing room only. I remember people standing outside the gymnasium trying to watch a basketball game.
Yeah, parochial league or CYC
Yeah,
league.
CYC
And they
is
come
what
in
they
from
called it.
Worcester.
Yeah,
Whenever
it
the
was-
Worcester teams come in.
It was competitive, man. This stuff was
It was great stuff.
real.
Built character.
And you could play from early morning. I mean, let's face it, you needed a glove and a bat. There's
And a Stingray bike.
That's it. So put your glove on. Timmy
Yeah,
Kimataris
exactly.
had a Stingray bike, put his glove
thing.
over it, his bat, and we'd go down to Sarge Maramas or at
Yeah.
Solar
Yep.
and play.
Yeah.
Till and the funny thing is, people would leave because they had to go home, and other people would come in.
Yeah.
So it's like open house all day
Right,
long.
right. And then the weekends were different. They opened the gates at Doyle Field when we were a kid, and the first 18 kids that made it to the varsity field
Could play.
on that field.
Yeah.
It was just a great time.
Just incredible. So you tied it all together. You tied being a kid and what it all looked like to you. Then you tied in the community part, which was really important.
important.
And of course, we always thought at Gallagher we were much more far superior than anybody at Carter Junior High
Yeah,
School. Well, and then 2 months later, we all met up at the high school. It didn't really matter
sophomore year,
anymore.
sophomore year back then. But yeah, we made friends from across town that we never, you know what?
And that's the way
We
it
never
went.
played against, we never hung around with, but over
All
time.
of a sudden, you get new friends, and off
Yeah.
you go. You still stay in touch, Fran Thomas.
Yeah, Franny and I stay in
principal for a
touch.
lot of years.
You know what?
and,
The biggest thing about this, quite honestly, Mr. Mayor, was getting back in touch with the players.
Right.
Because I hadn't talked to these guys in 40 or 50 years.
Well, because you move away from the area.
I live in the seacoast of New Hampshire. I've been living in New Hampshire for 35, 40 years. But I still come down to Leominster quite a bit, and this got me in touch. I interviewed 28 out of the 34 surviving players for this book.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you have a dedication page in here.
For Brian McNally
Bodad,
from Lunenburg.
McNally,
Yep.
Ben Ruggles.
Yeah, he passed. Dave Arsenal.
That was a shocker. Ben Ruggles, good guy. Worked at the rec department.
Exactly.
For us for a lot of years.
Yeah, he was my roommate when we were up in Longmeadow.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
Good guy. Just a good guy. But you had the whole, list. Jeff Dedian. Who knows more? I mean, he coached my kid in it must have been Central Mass Basketball League. Just awesome.
Yeah.
One day I was heading into Athol. I got there a little late, and as I'm walking in, Jeff's coming out. I'm like, "Where you going?" He goes, "I got thrown out of the game coaching." I said, "The game just started 5 minutes ago." Talk about passion, and you know what? He pulled the kids aside and said, "Look, this is what happened.
Yep.
You get it, and then right back out there.
Yeah.
You can't buy this.
No,
You can't
non-parental
pay
mentorship.
You can't pay people
Yep.
to do this and do such a good job at it. And,
Right.
and
And you
little do
take-
they know the impact they're having on you.
Yeah, and Jeff in particular, he was very accessible, gave me access to the clubhouse that they have down there, and taking pictures of all the different trophies over the years.
All right.
Leominster was the first city in the country to win 3 consecutive Babe Ruth state championships.
right, yep.
And it's only been done one time since.
Isn't that
And it was
amazing?
Leominster again.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
That just shows the talent. It's kind of strange because, a little bit strange because nobody made it big. It made it almost all the way,
Yep.
to professional. Right now.
Well, we played against professionals.
No, absolutely.
I played against Rich Gedman and Ronnie Darling,
Yep.
both from Worcester,
Yep.
Shrewsbury, Worcester.
And they made it big.
Yeah, they made All-Stars.
But sometimes I think just maybe we didn't have the right connections to
it's
that
just
next
an
level.
almost insurmountable hurdle.
Well,
you have to be lucky.
Look at Noah Gray.
Yeah.
Playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not
Yeah.
only is he playing, not only is he suiting up, he's not
starting.
on the practice team. This guy's scoring touchdowns.
Exactly.
First year.
Yeah.
Leominster High School kid.
Every once in a while, somebody makes it through without injuries.
The
And
chances are like slim to none.
yeah, so have
really.
fun while you're doing it. is the
Yes,
message.
and that's what it's all about. Those sandlot games are more important than anything. The sun starts to go down, and
Yeah.
the mosquitoes starting to bite. and,
Exactly.
right, throw the old bat over your shoulder
Yeah.
and
You can smell the charcoal.
and head home. Right, and head home, and just can't wait to
Do
get
it
up
again.
and do it all over
Do it
again.
all over again.
But what was the best part of this? The reconnection of
The best part was reconnecting, and also just the response of the community to the book itself. And people reaching out to me by phone or by mail saying, wow, I haven't thought of these people.
Exactly.
My brother Mike says, I haven't thought of these people. I haven't thought of some of these people in 40 years. And now I can vividly recall playing wiffle ball with so-and-so or playing street hockey with such and such.
Right. Well, see, this is the stuff we think of all the time, but nobody ever puts it into writing.
Well, and that was really the goal. I wanted to have a book on the shelf at the library that documented the history of baseball in Leominster.
Now, R.A. Salvatore, just from around the corner here on Florence Street,
Right.
kid.
I spoke with him before I wrote the book, and he encouraged me. Mark Bodanza gave me some advice and counsel about writing a nonfiction book. They encouraged me, so big props to both of those guys.
And it's here. It's here for good now.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that sometimes things pass and nobody ever
Yeah, it's on the shelf. It's in the
gets it
historical,
and
yeah.
puts it all together. And you read this stuff and you just go and you're like.
So the
yeah.
next one's about Emil. I got a permission from Coach Johnson to write his biography.
I thought the man was just absolutely remarkable.
It's going to be a little different. I'm going to talk to players. I told Emil I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and he says I'm in. Count me in. He wants to document baseball, high school baseball in Leominster.
But yeah, sometimes I remember parents pulling their kids out. Sometimes saying, I want to play for Johnson. They go to another school or another team, and I'm like, you don't get it. This isn't. This is tough love sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you know somebody's capable.
It's the first time that I ever equated effort with results.
Yeah.
You try hard, you do what he asks, you're going to play.
Yeah. And nothing more disappointing than him to know that you could have done better.
Yep.
You were capable of more. And he couldn't get it out of here,
No.
right? 978-534-1626. Name of the book is A Place and Time, Mark Lefebvre. There's a nice forward. Actually, a couple nice articles, chapters in here at the very beginning. You dedicate the book to Brian McNally.
Yep.
And you just go on, and you even have a quote in here from David Bowie.
Yep.
And
we could be heroes just for one day.
just for 1 minute almost, right?
Yeah.
But the thing just starts off, and it's got a little bit of the bells from St. Anna's and the whistles at the far. I mean, it just builds like you really set a tone for what's
Neighborhood.
going on behind the scenes, things that people take advantage of. Like, I don't own a watch. I got whistles and bells to tell me every minute of the day what time
exactly.
it is.
Yep.
And people laugh. They're like, "What was that whistle?
Yeah.
What was that whistle?"
Well, it's 12 noon.
It's 8, it's noon, it's 6, and then it's 9.
Yeah, and 10 o'clock on Sundays when the Mass started.
Right. It's just an incredible thing. So you did a good job. Anything else that you want to? You're obviously going to let people know where
They can
get
find
this
the book on Amazon. Again, it's A Place and Time, Youth, Community, and Baseball. They can get it at Amazon, and they can also contact me directly. And if you want books, we'll get you books and sign them.
Hopefully there are those that are watching out there that might have pictures. We weren't really good at I think the only pictures I
parents were.
have of me is that from Lancaster Street School. And, the class pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I don't think there are any
down
other
in
pictures.
the little stage down in the cafeteria.
I don't think, there are no pictures of me anywhere playing in the dirt. No, I mean, there are no pictures. People didn't take pictures.
No, they didn't have their phones.
Today is 6,842. That's
Yeah.
only on one little album.
Yeah, exactly.
Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
Hey, Crystal, how's it going?
Good. Hannaford was very busy today.
Why? What's going on down there?
They're remodeling the break room.
Well, they're doing a lot of remodeling down there. Imagine that. We've got a grocery store in the middle of this neighborhood. Unheard of. People come here, out where Victory used to be, on Lancaster Street. Did you ever work at Victory?
No, but I shopped there.
You shopped there?
It's a very nice place.
Dave Bellotis, Paul Donfro, Pete, the Linex.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them wasn't one of them like really good? I mean, which one?
John and Paul. John went to Michigan.
Thank you, Crystal.
Take care.
Pete was an all-star with Steve Tater at Nichols College
Yeah,
in
these
Dudley.
guys were good, huh?
But John went to Michigan.
He did, huh?
Yeah, Steve, what do you call it? Joey Cataldo. He played at Miami.
That's incredible. Some of these guys came close.
Yeah, I've made friends with a lot of these guys. Joe Cataldo and I talk a couple times a week by text. I haven't talked to him since 1977.
Yeah.
And
Well, he
so-
continued to coach other girls' leagues.
Coach my brother's kids. And,
Yeah, I mean, so some of them continue on with their legacy
Yeah.
of giving back and using their skills to coach.
Yeah.
And but I just hope from this are other pictures. I mean, other things that people might have that you never even thought anybody had a picture of.
Yeah, well,
you
we're
know?
going to get some good pictures for the high school years as well.
So you're going to continue on with.
That's my next book.
And Mr. Johnson Emil deserves. I mean, he got one.
Think about it.
Think of the games this man's.
Well, he's won
soccer.
over 720 some odd high school baseball games, 400 and some odd soccer games, and then girls basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
And Max Preps, as I mentioned when I was here a couple weeks ago, they elect one coach for each state in the country. Who's the best coach of all time, all sports? One coach. And Emil was voted as the #1 coach in all of Massachusetts, any sport.
Yeah, just incredible. And then who went on to who was it that went on to be captain of 3 different sports?
Oh, that was McNally, who I dedicated
in
the book.
Lunenburg? Was it
Lunenburg,
Lunenburg?
yeah.
Yeah.
Football, hockey, and baseball.
So he was really an athlete, huh? I
He
mean,
started
it's
varsity all 4 years, freshman through senior year.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Huh?
just the most gifted athlete I've ever seen.
And some of this stuff, like the Pignatas, some of that was their DNA, their chemistry. They're just big,
When Mike Pignata came up to the plate, you knew that he was going to rope one down the left field line.
you better
strict pull
You
hitter.
better hope it doesn't come
And that
at
third
you.
baseman had to be really on his toes.
Yeah, those guys were powerhouses. His
Yeah.
brother was the same thing. The father was the same
big
thing.
Popeye forearms.
Oh my word, those guys are just
And
incredible.
a number of sports too. So
Well, hey, good to see you.
great to be here.
Looking
Mayor.
well. So, what are you doing now that you're
I'm
retired?
quasi-retired. I work in the recovery space.
That's right.
Addiction
Yeah,
recovery
yeah,
space and helping communities deal with addiction. And I write. And I'm a DJ at a radio station playing rock music. So I'm living the dream
Where do you do that?
in Portsmouth,
Portsmouth, New Hampshire, huh?
Yeah,
Gee, see, you never know, huh?
never know.
And you're having fun.
I'm having a blast.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, don't tell anybody.
This is not
like-
work.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you have family. You're
Yep. I have a daughter and a son, adult son and daughter that my wife and I, we relocated to the Seacoast after I went to work up there in high tech, retired from IBM and got into this.
There you go. IBM. Yeah, Art, that was just here, old digital guy.
Yeah, I worked at Digital before I went
Digital
to
too?
IBM.
Yeah.
I think everybody has one degree of separation.
It's amazing how many people. No, that was a boom for Leominster.
Yeah, it was.
When digital came here, that changed a lot. I mean, that changed people's socioeconomic.
Yeah, brought the upper middle class to the
Sure did.
to central Massachusetts.
And then they discovered a lot of talent from here.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother book, but a lot of talent that went on to other digital plants, IBM and Raytheon and all these other places.
Exactly.
Just incredible. Thank you. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to go to more, right? To
More.
2 more classics.
Yep.
Leominster classics, and then we're going to move on. We're going to move from sports, and we'll move to another community area, and that's music. We'll be right back. And we are back here at Inside Leominster. We're live this afternoon as we, a couple times a year, we might not be, but we'll pre-tape a show. But 20 minutes left here, a little bit more than 20 minutes left. And phone number is 978-534-1626. And my guests are Steve Piermarini and John DiCicco. And we'll be talking about the 32nd annual Christmas concert featuring the Leominster Colonial Band. Can you believe that?
I can't.
We were talking about community and history and, you know, a look back. I mean, this is just amazing. Now, Colonial Band's been around for a lot longer than 32 years.
113.
113. Now, there's got to be a record setter out there for something, right?
No, you'd be surprised. People say that to us all the time, and you know, it's a natural reaction because you know, that's a long time for any group to be around. But I think I think it's called the American Band in Providence has been around for almost 200 or maybe even more than 200. And the Marine Corps Band in Washington has been around for more than 200 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But there aren't many bands left, is I think my point.
No, it's community bands. I don't think you'd find as many.
No.
And the other thing, too, is consecutive because there's never been a break. There's other bands in this area, other community bands, but they had breaks during wartime.
Yeah, somewhere along the line they had to pause. Yeah.
For some odd reason or Providence, the Leominster Colonial Band kept going through it all.
So here we are, 32nd. You're 25th, but who's counting?
Yeah, 25th years conductor, yes.
Somebody mentioned at the summer concert something about 25. I said, wait a minute. Carl's like, you know, he's much older than Steve. And Carl can't hear me anyway, don't worry about it. And Steve's like 25, so how could this be? Or 35, he can't be any older than that.
Must have started young. Yeah.
And anyway, 30 pieces.
Yeah, 34.
Actually, for this concert, it's 34.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
And we were saying in the auditorium, if you haven't been in to see the Festival of the Trees, full magical, right? Full-blown magical. Now you add the history part of the Colonial Band. Then you add the talent of the Colonial Band. And then comes the music. It's just magical.
It's a great experience. And I've been telling people that I've been, you know, trying to talk up the concert. And I tell them, you know, just the atmosphere itself is worth the price of admission, which, of course, is free. But if you haven't been there, it really is something to behold.
I've been to a lot of concerts, but very few places have it all.
No,
you know,
it's a great venue.
I was Mechanics Hall is a nice place. We were there a week and a half ago. They had a Christmas tree on one side, Christmas tree, a couple of decorations, but I mean, obviously, we're not trying to compare ourselves to Mechanics Hall. This is community. This is community concerts and community bands. And we don't, you know, we're not saying we're the, you know, New York harmonic, you know, quartet here, right? I mean, so we're not. We're not we're not in that league, and we don't want to, you know, we're not trying to be. This is unbelievable community concert.
Involvement with all the trees that are created by people in the
but
city.
great talent.
Yeah.
Yes. We were talking about some of the Frank Barbers of the world and some of the old timers that played, your father, and just it went on and on. I'm like, these were big talents that played, and still.
Well, you mentioned Frank Barber. Frank is in a way responsible for the evolution of this, the genesis of this concert. It was 1990, right? When we had a big parade for the city. Forget what it was, what the occasion was.
For the city.
Yeah, it was a parade. Steve Pearl was. We just had Steve on.
That's right. Yeah, it was the centennial of the city. Not centennial, but it was the bicentennial.
Yeah, some occasion, and Frank was with us, and we had kind of talked about, you know, how can we keep the band active, you know,
throughout the year
in the off season when we perform in the summer, but the off season, and I think it was Frank who said, well, you know, let's do a concert this Christmas time. And he got the ball rolling, and John, of course, took it and ran with it. And, you know, the ultimate tragedy is that in between the time that Frank suggested it in September and the concert in December, he passed away.
It was that long ago, huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of how long ago
Yeah,
it
he
was.
passed just about a month before the concert actually took place. And we dedicated the concert to him.
What a nice man, too. I was thinking the other day, you know,
guy.
these big drugstores, and nothing against them, but, man, how do you meet a guy like him with, you know, the West West End Pharmacy and all these
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Gene Koresha played in. I mean, you had the Fraticelli. I mean, you had incredible amount of talent, and you still do.
Yeah, we still do.
That
Well,
play.
we'll be featuring on Sunday our principal horn player, Alan Ventura, who will be performing the Morceau de Concert by Camille Saint-Saëns, which is it's a concerto, but it's really a mini concerto. It's not multiple movements, but it'll show off his prowess on the French horn.
Wow.
So that'll be something to
Who
behold.
did you feature the last concert of the summer there? There was a gentleman that you
Joe
featured.
Pisano
Yes,
played
yes.
the clarinet
Wow,
on.
that man is talented.
Yeah,
Well,
he'll be there.
Again, that's in the bloodline. His father was the principal
Right.
solo clarinetist for the band for a generation almost.
And he was making that thing sing.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, just, you know, in the park and the birds chirping.
Yeah.
Wow, it was really like, you know, I thought it was, you know, right? Wasn't that cool?
Absolutely. It's one of the things that I like to, accentuate when I tell people about the band and the concert is that, these aren't ringers that we're, hiring from New York or Boston to come in and make us look good. These are the people in the community.
This is our band.
Which is more important.
Yeah.
You go to a big orchestra, and
homegrown
there's
talent.
really not a whole lot of connection unless you know the person that's in it.
Right.
Right.
It's beautiful, and they do a nice job, and it's an incredible amount of talent. It's the all-star team, but there's no connection. You can't say, well, I knew their parents, or they lived down
Exactly.
the street, or
That's right.
I know something. 978-534-1626. The concert is this Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's at Leominster City Hall at the John R. Tater Auditorium. And obviously, we'll be hearing some holiday classics.
We will. We'll be doing a number of them, of course. Among them, we'll be doing the Ukrainian Bell Carol. The arrangement is actually titled Fantasy on a Bell Carol by Edward J. Madden, who just passed away a couple of months ago. We'll be doing a nice medley. I can remember the name of it.
You don't have to.
Wondrous.
We'll keep it as a surprise.
But it's a medley. It's got
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and
Just done in
all the
this-
traditional classics.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day. So yeah, there'll be Jingo Jango, which is Bert Camford's answer to Sleigh Ride. So yeah, there'll be a
I
number
can see
of-
you're excited about it, and you should be, and it'll be a lot of fun.
We always have fun. We have fun, and we try to make it fun for the
Oh,
audience.
it's always. And if you haven't ever been to one of the concerts, Steve always does a little bit of a story, gives a little bit of a background, because it's not just the music. You want to know something about the composer, and there's always a good story that goes along with it, and the music, right?
I found when I studied music history in college, I had a great professor who, we had music history at 9 a.m. on Fridays.
And you went to every class.
I did.
Yeah.
But the reason I did is because the professor made it fun.
Right.
He knew how to approach it.
He tricked you into learning by making
in
it
a way,
fun.
yeah. And the reason, this gets back to what you were saying, there usually is either a funny or interesting story, if not funny, about the composer or the connection to the music, and we'll have a couple of those on Sunday.
So that's a lot of fun. And so to make it part of your, I know for a lot of people, it's their ritual, their tradition to go to the Colonial Band concert. And
John's family, John's mother has been
She hasn't
baking up a
missed one,
storm.
right?
She hasn't missed one.
No, never miss them. And that's exactly.
I'm right up
I
there,
mean,
you
I mean,
know.
that's what we want.
I'd like to say that I have never missed.
Oh no,
I was
haven't,
thinking
no.
back yesterday.
No.
Where was the first one?
It was at the Sheridan, which is now
Right.
now the
And then it
Hilton.
went to the Italian American
We
Center?
did 2 years at the Sheridan,
Right.
the former Sheridan, and then we moved to the Italian Cultural
Center.
Center until they closed,
Right,
and then
and then you went to-
and then we came to City Hall.
Right.
We're going to
Remember
stay
being
there
at the
until that
Sheridan?
closes.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're going to stay there until that closes.
That's
Well,
right.
it'll be a long time before that closes.
We don't plan on leaving it anytime soon. No, I mean, in all honesty, I've said this every time we come on the show every year. I mean, City Hall by far is the quintessential place to experience this concert, without a doubt. Especially since you started the Festival of Trees 17 years ago, anybody who has never experienced that, again, that Steve jokes about, it's worth the price of admission, which is free to the concert. It's definitely worth the price of admission to experience our concert in that hall during this time of the year with those trees. It will, if you walk into the concert and you weren't in the holiday spirit,
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you will walk out in the holiday spirit.
And some years, around 4 o'clock, 3:45, when the concert ended, it was snowing out.
Right.
Not a
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah,
just a
we
little
get
bit.
a
I'm
little-
like,
yeah.
okay, who set this up, right?
Yeah.
The lights
I
are
know.
on when you walk
I know.
out. The lights
I
are
know.
on downtown.
Yeah, it's
the
just
tree behind.
it's a whole immersive experience. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Well, we want to thank all of the sponsors, the people that
yes.
take it upon themselves. They're free, but nothing's free. I mean, there's expenses, and there's grants that they have to apply for. But, you know, if somebody's out there and says, you know, I've been going to these concerts for years, and I find myself in the position where I can make a small donation or a large one if you'd like, it's what keeps the organization going. So you can reach out to our office, and we'll put you in touch with John DiCicco or Steve. And anyway, free admission. And that's quite a thing. Where do you get a 34-piece orchestra? I can't find any place. Festival of Trees is free, and it's all coming up the 11th. Sometimes they say this Sunday, but then this gets repeated next week, and I mess up it. So it's December 11th, which is, from this vantage point, next Sunday at 2 o'clock. And concerts last about an hour and a half to 2 hours,
Two
right?
hours, about 2
Yeah,
to 4.
2 hours with the
2 to
intermission.
4, including the
And-
intermission, which is free refreshments.
Santa Claus will be.
Santa
Santa
will be there during
Santa Claus
intermission for all
goes.
the
He's
kids.
awesome. He's awesome.
always there.
Bring the kids.
Yes.
And you'd be surprised because for so many kids, they've never been in a balcony.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
Think about it.
They love it.
They go to a school and they have a cafetorium,
That's
and
it.
there's the stage, and then it turns into the you could the smells like old peas and green beans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like Lancaster Street School. Used to always, and St. Anne's, always smell like green beans and peas.
I remember so fondly. This is totally off topic, but
So was the whole show.
What was her name? The woman who cooked at St. Anne's, and she used to put all the butter in the rice.
Yeah.
And I used to love that
Yeah,
rice.
good stuff.
This is. Oh, forgive me, audience.
I'll think of her name.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, she
great
loaded
memories.
it up with Crisco, right? And what a way to. Who wants to eat dry rice, right? Right? Who wants to eat that
not
stuff?
me. I load mine with
Yeah.
butter, and that's why I look like this.
Give me another slab. All right, hang with us here for just a couple of minutes. I've got a couple other community notices I've got to put out there, such as, let's see. Well, we did Mark. Let's just run through a few slides if you guys don't mind. There's our caseload for COVID for the last 7 days in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Does not count people that did home test kits. So we're at 81,598. So let's just say 81,600 got tested, 5,000 tested positive, 63 deaths, one is too many, 1,037 new cases in all of Worcester County in 7 days. We're at 72 right now, so a little over 35 or so, I guess, is what you'd say, and that's in 7 days. So that 72 is in 2 weeks. And so you break that in half, you get somewhere in the 30s there. Hey, just in case, not music history, but 1941, Franklin D. Roosevelt delivered the Day of
Infamy, yes.
Infamy was the Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
And to the United States Congress after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And in 1960, do you know what movie was out there? Broadcast for the third time? Peter Pan on NBC. And you know what? They videotaped it in color.
Wow.
They weren't able to produce it, like send it over the airways in color, but they knew that at some point they would. So they did. And then in 62, there was a 114-day newspaper strike. But that was a big deal. If newspaper went on strike now, everybody would be like, okay, what's my horoscope? I'll just go find out somewhere else. 63, remember Frank Sinatra's son got kidnapped?
I know somebody who was on the Tommy Dorsey band with him and was at the
Come
hotel
on.
when it happened. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they get a ransom or anything?
They did.
Well,
but they caught the
$100
guys.
or something? Or?
No. Frank paid, what,
Big-
100,000? Yeah.
It was my mother. They'd say, just, you know what? It doesn't matter much. It's okay. He was the last in line anyway. We weren't even sure he was around. And he was just a nuisance. 1978, The Deer Hunter. Remember that? That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Remember there used to be movies that were big. Remember?
Yeah, it's different now because of Netflix and.
Yeah.
The Titanic, the first time it sank, it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's like Titanic 37, and Rambo 97. You know, there were big deals. Remember they had a soundtrack to every movie?
Oh,
When was
yeah.
the last time there was a
Yeah,
soundtrack
you could buy
to
the
anything?
album, yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time?
I,
Right?
Very few.
Remember Love Story?
yeah.
Love means never having to say you're sorry or something like
Charlie
that.
McGraw.
I run around all the time. Hey, I love you. I don't have to say I'm sorry to you. What are you talking about? No, but remember everybody went out and bought the album
Yeah.
and
Well, that
watched
was
the movie
that was a good
72
one. Yeah.
times.
That was a
Now,
good one.
I don't know. When's the last soundtrack that came from a movie? And most of them came from the BSO, right? I mean,
Some of them.
A lot of stuff came.
Well, you know, they go to Europe a lot to record now
Well,
because
yeah.
it's cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper, and that's why the film industry has moved to Canada.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
And Sophie's Choice, remember that? Sophie's Choice. And 1984, Ringo Starr hosts Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
What a classic, huh? He was always my favorite.
Herbie Hancock. What does that say?
Herbie Hancock, what did he do?
I don't know.
Oh, he was on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, wow.
And Herbie Hancock was the
missed that
guest,
Ringo Starr.
the musical guest. Now nobody knows. Do you know, we were doing the other day in the morning briefing how many people used to watch Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it's.
Now there's like, I don't know, 6 million. And hardly anybody, they have to search for people who people know.
Yeah.
So if you watch it, they start talking about somebody like who?
You know, I'm glad I'm not the only one because my wife and I sit there and we'll watch the first 5 minutes. We don't know who the host is. We don't know who the cast
Right.
is. We don't know who they're talking about. I guess we must be
Yeah,
old.
did you hear what the Kardashians did? I'm like, okay, how long are they going to milk that one? Are they the only ones left?
I know.
Yeah, John Travolta said nice things about. It's like you got a generation of people that are like, who?
Yeah.
Vinnie Barbarino, who? Right?
I know.
Today's National Blue Collar Day. That's us, right? From our parents, right? That's us. National Brownie Day, National Health Savings Account Day, and Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day.
Whoa!
Huh? That's for you, Carl.
And he doesn't have to pretend.
He doesn't have to pretend. You're right. Yeah. Every once in a while, I see Carl out there going, bring me back to 1962. I want to see the first time Rudolph was on TV. Remember, if you missed Rudolph, it was all over for another
You
year.
used to schedule it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like every kid was home at
only
7
on
o'clock.
once. Yep.
Because if
Only
you missed it,
broadcast once.
you were done.
Yep.
Magoo.
That's right.
Now they repeat
My
it.
favorite Christmas. Right?
It was the same way with the Wizard of Oz.
Was it Oz?
Yeah,
You
Wizard
missed
of
it, you
Oz,
was
once a
done.
year, that was it.
All right, what else? Let me jump ahead here because I can't stay on task here. Let's see. The Philly Cruiser will be at Target this weekend on December 11th as well from 10 to 2, so meet them there. And then Walmart on the 17th. And here we go. We'll get right to the core mission here. Walk to shop. And there we are. Look at that, huh? So we have these new little carts. And oftentimes, I will see ladies most of the time. And they walk down a Market Basket or a Hannaford, and they do their shopping, and they maybe don't have an automobile, or maybe it's not a second one. They put like 32 bags, 1 on each finger, 6 on each finger, and you see them walking down the street trying to, and then they'll lay them down for a minute. Sometimes they break. Come to City Hall, we'll give you one of these. There's a small and a little larger one. They have a little cover to cover the groceries and stuff, so come on down. Yes, these people came all the way from, we bought them from a company in Burlington, Vermont. They came all the way down. They were so excited to come. So it's Walk to Shop.
Nice.
Here's the parade. There we are at the 2022 Winter Stroll Parade. There's more
great.
of the parade. And then at MassDOT, my good friend Darren McAuliffe, used to be a city councilor in Braintree, was given this award. That's the highest award you can get at MassDOT. And the place was packed. Paving on Route 12, we got MassDOT to get on there and smooth things out. They'll be back in the spring to finish things off, but so much construction this past year. There's the police station really coming along. I mean, this good weather has really put us in a good spot. And we thank the Chamber of Commerce, our senator and state rep, for our new sign welcoming those to the city of Leominster. And Santa, let Santa know what you want. You can't. Santa wasn't a mind reader. He knows what's going on, but he wasn't a mind reader. He does know that you should be at City Hall this Sunday at 2 o'clock to see the Colonial Band. And there's just a little glimpse of the Festival of Trees, and that goes to 19th. Look at that, huh? There's the Common, photo by Ronnie Gerard, and a Throwback Thursday, downtown Fountain. And we've got a grant to do some work in the downtown and the Common, and we're hoping that we'll actually be able to put a fountain back. Maybe not the original one, a fountain. And there we go.
Like Bedford Falls.
It's looking like Mary! And that it was Mary! That, right? Mary! Now the poor guy went out for a bologna sandwich. He comes back, his uncle loses the money, and you know the rest of the stuff. I don't want to tell. It's like the Titanic, you know. But it ends happy, though. The Titanic sunk.
That's right. Yeah.
This ends up happy.
Every time.
People have watched the Titanic. They go back for Titanic number 22. I'm like, I know the ending. I'll say that. Give me the $30. Go on to supper. I know the ending. As if the ending's going to change. All right, we're out of time here at Inside Leominster. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. We'll see you on Sunday.
Yes.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.